Okay. Well, hey, we are live with Yo and Mo, where we are trying to help you build your business. So we're going to talk about some things that are beneficial to your business strategy and your business growth. And, you know, we don't have to be so uppity about it. It's just a conversation.
Yes, a candid conversation. So yes, it is Academy, Royal Owners Academy, and we are still in business planning, business strategic mode. So you guys, if you have not, I don't know where you've been these last few months, because that is all we've been talking about. In the Academy, Monica has blessed us with the business plan template, and we went over that last time. So you have to be sure to look at those videos, look at those posts, contact us if you need help, visit Monica's website, download the template, do all the things. It's called Plan, Strategize, and Execute.
Yes.
The execution part.
It's the execution part. Yeah. You can print these off, you can write it down as much as you want, but if you don't execute, it was a waste.
It was a waste. Sometimes now, see, I'm gonna back up and tell on myself, because some things you might think about, so you have it in your mind, but yeah, it's not gonna do its full thing until you execute it all the way. So you definitely have to execute it. So thank you, Monica. Thank you for guiding us through the template, giving us advice and pointers and all that. We appreciate you so much for that.
Well, thank you for having me out, and thank you for taking the time to look at the documents, look at the business plan template, and actually giving people, the real life step-by-step, how you need to get this completed. But y'all need to go back and recap those videos.
Yes, make sure you did that, because we're going to go on to the growth. So we've created the foundation. We have the business plan. You know what? I'm going to give y'all a little refresher just in case you are not aware. So in the business plan, Monica broke it down into 5 easy parts. 1 is your business summary. Your market analysis is 2nd. 3rd, you have your marketing strategy. You go on to define your operations. And then the 5th thing is your financial analysis. So Monica's big thing is don't make it long. Don't make it a dissertation.
Right. Because we ain't got all day. And you don't have all day to do it.
Just get to the point.
Yeah.
So we have that down. Now it's time to think about how we're going to grow. Yeah. So explain how they go hand in hand.
So they go hand in hand because that business plan, that is your way of creating the framework. You're creating a framework for your own business. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to sell, put it in that framework. Because once that is set, then it's easier for you to do your brand messaging, actually identify your audience, and actually know, these are the levels I need to get to with my business. And so with this growth strategy, that's basically saying, this is how we're going to execute what's in the plan.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, these are the steps. It's like you need to be thinking about how your website is going, how easy is it to onboard somebody, how much is it costing you to onboard a new client, and how you need to set your prices, your marketing, what have you. So this strategy is like, this is what we need to do. And that business plan is like, this is why we're doing it.
So the what and the why.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go through it, because it is broken down into parts. So I'll just go over the parts. You have in the strategy guide, you define your goals and what your fundamental services will be. Or no, your fundamentals. What your fundamentals will be, that's where you talked about the onboarding and all that. And then the additional services that you would offer, your partnerships, your price model, and then of course you always have the execution at the end.
This is how we're gonna get it done.
That's it. Right. Okay, so let's start with the goals. Let me back up just a step. Can you explain a little bit more what we are trying to define in the growth strategy? We talked about the how and the what, but because I'm looking here and I don't want to read it, but I know you know it verbatim.
Of course. So basically what this strategy is, sometimes people don't know what their goal is because they don't know what their purpose is in their business or what their business purpose is. Identify that first.
Right.
And then that can get you to where your goal is, because people say, well, I want to be a billionaire. That's great, but what kind of impact are you going to make in your industry and your community while you're trying to get to that millionaire status?
Okay.
And is your business helping that vision and that value? Is your business helping that objective? Like, what is your business going to do to help you get there?
Gotcha.
So that's why I tell people, think big when it comes to the goal. Don't think, well, I'm just trying to make $10,000. That's wonderful, cool. But if you want to get to that millionaire status, how many times do you want to make that $10,000 to get there?
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you want to do it in 1 month, in 1 quarter, in 1 year? What do you need to sell? How do you need to sell it to get to that 10,000 and say, okay, now it's time to double it, triple it to get to that millionaire status?
Gotcha.
And that's basically what it is people have a very good idea, they have a very good product, they just don't know how to implement it in their business. They don't know how to operate a business. And that's fine, because we don't all have to know that, but there are steps, there are professionals, there are tools available to help you navigate that road.
Right. And let's back. This is a free tool. You
It's
can
free.
go to MCM. So give us the exact website, www.
mcmsrvcs.com. So basically it's services without the vowels.
Old time texting. We going back to that.
Yeah, all time texting. mcmsrvcs.com. You can go to that website. I've got a resources page.
Yep.
All of this is on
Yep.
the resource page. So
Yep,
you can't
yep.
say, I didn't know where to go, and I didn't read it. That's on you.
It's for free. You can download these resources for free,
Yeah.
and then, work on them and then book a consultation and get this execution going. So let's start with the goals, 10-year goals. So they need to write down their goals. Mm-hmm. And you talked about that, their customer base, their branding, the community impact.
Yeah, because when it comes to your goal, like for me, my 10-year goals, I want to be international.
Okay.
Let me be in. I want headquarters in 4 corners of the states, and I want to be international.
I love it.
Yes, that's what I want to get to. So I've been working out. Let me focus on creating these partnerships, because that's, to me, for me and my business, that's how I'm going to get there.
Okay.
So now that I've got that major goal, okay, let me break down these little steps.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to create those partnerships. I'm going to create those digital products that are reflective of my business, not just something I went online, changed a few words here and said, "Ooh, I made it." No, I'm giving you something that's more complex, that's giving you more of an insight of how to get this done. And then I said, okay, now I need to make sure, do I have my own operations going well? Sometimes you need to put that software in there, the digital. So I go through each one of those, and all of that reflects my brand messaging.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
My brand messaging is so important, because once I have my brand image out there, like even with my colors, even with my slogan, plan for growth, plan for the future, all that ties into, okay, how I'm going to advertise my business and how I'm going to connect with my target audience.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I don't want to just be spinning my wheel, but not talking to who I need to be
The right
talking to.
person. Oh my goodness, we talk about that so much, and it
Yeah.
is so important. And it goes back to the brand, identifying your brand and really understanding that. So then we get to the additional services. So you outline the current services that you're providing.
Outline the current services. Now, say if you just sell a body lotion, that's fine, but don't just get stuck at selling a body lotion. Once you perfect that craft, it's like, okay, let me make this a bundle. Let me make this a lotion and a body oil and a spray.
Okay.
Bath bombs or something like that. Let me make this a bundle, because you can have a product to lead to something else.
Right.
So now you got the body lotion, now you got the bundle. Now you're educating people on self-care and how your ingredients are like organic or something like that. It's better for your body. Okay, consult them on that. Now you're saying, well, I grow my own plants and I use my plants to put in the lotion to make the body oil. Now you're scalable.
Gotcha. Okay, we're going back to the business plan.
There we go. There
Okay,
we go.
I love how you're just tying this all together. It makes it seem
Yes.
so easy.
Yes. One feeds into the other, because it shouldn't be so overwhelming to where you don't want to run business anymore.
That's me.
You just be like, you know what? Forget it. I quit.
Go get a job
Go
again.
get a job again. Yeah. And I tell people, take a nap.
That's my answer to everything. A nap,
nap.
a good nap.
Take a
Yes.
strategic nap.
That's what I'm gonna start calling it. I took a strategic nap.
There have been many times I have literally quit my business, folded my arms, said, I'm done. I go take 30 minutes, take a nap, and I wake up, I'm like, I was just playing.
I do that too.
I woke up, I got a whole new idea. Maybe if I do this. Oh, okay. And that's just
Oh
a
my
reset. Because
goodness.
we get so overwhelmed. We get
Yeah.
so, our thoughts cluttered in our mind.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people, just write it down. Because when you don't write it down, you don't give your mind a chance to empty it.
Yes,
to flush it
I
out.
agree with that. I
So
agree with
write
that.
it down and stuff, and then, take a strategic. I'm quick to take a nap.
You know, I love having these conversations because it really lets me know I'm not as crazy or I'm not lazy. And it just really helps encourage me to know that I am not alone. When you really have people that are transparent, you find out that the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, they're there, everybody is dealing with it. And it's like when we're really in it and around people who are being transparent about the ups and downs, to realize that you really do have to fail to success.
You do.
You have to fail to success, and you have to have people around you that when you're falling, they let you know it's okay. I got a Band-Aid when you hit the concrete, I got a Band-Aid for you.
Right, yeah.
You know, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's very encouraging. So that's another thing that I love about these videos, is just letting people know that it is overwhelming. And you do get discouraged and you want to quit. But every failure is required. I literally have to tell myself, like, every failure is required.
And that's why whenever I fail, or I love taking a risk, I will take an educated risk. I'll take a risk when it doesn't work out. I sit in that feeling for an hour.
Exactly.
I sit in it and I say, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? What do I need to learn about myself, about the processes, what have you? What do I need to gain out of this so I can make the changes?
Exactly, yeah.
So you have to give yourself that time to just sit in it, feel it, and learn it. And then when you fail, that's when you realize, oh, I should have been doing A, B, and C.
This
Or
one small
my attitude.
adjustment.
One small adjustment, that's it. And then you go back and you just do it again.
You do it again,
Some
yeah.
people, they fail, and they be like, well, that means I'm not supposed to be in business. I'm not going to do it anymore. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. You just have to exhaust all your options. It's okay, fall, get back up, lose $20, work to get that $20 back. That's all you have to do. So it can be discouraging, but the reason why we're doing it is because we were gifted, we are talented, we are skilled to do this in our business. Now, if you just think you need to go work for somebody else, don't do that.
Then go and do that, right.
But you're gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah,
It'll be
because in
uncomfortable.
your mind, you want something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, we're getting off the growth a little bit, but it's important to just step back and talk about these things of really knowing what your financial goal is and not feeling like my business has to be what other people's goals are in order to be considered successful. We have to define our own definition of success and be okay in that. You know, be okay, like for instance, me, I'm not interested right now. Well, let me rephrase that. Right now, I'm focused on Huntsville. I'm very interested and focused on Huntsville. So I can't allow myself to get distracted by somebody else's success that is in a different focus area than what mine is. So, you know, I think like just us really defining our own success. And then I say that with the whole 9-to-5 thing. Like for me, when I got into it, I literally told myself, which was a good thing and a bad thing, as long as I can replace my annual income, I'm successful.
Yeah, you're successful.
I'm successful. I don't need to be this big, huge company. Right now, my goal is just to make my life as comfortable as an entrepreneur as it was when I was working.
Correct, yeah. And you can do that.
Yeah.
That can be good, because some people are like, I just want to replace my income.
Exactly.
But keep in mind, while you just want to replace your income, you're going to evolve.
Yeah, that's where you still have to scale. You still have to think about the strategic growth of it all.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this, because honestly, all the business plans, I mean, I've seen, you know, we've all seen plenty of models to go after, but I know it was the timing and everything like that where this really sunk in, but just really to understand how to build the growth into the plan and to think about it. It is a part of the complete plan. It's not something that just happens because you get to a plateau. I think that's what I hear a lot. A lot of people get to a plateau and then they figure out, okay, how do I get to the next level? They didn't build it into the plan. They kind of just dealt with it when it came.
When it came, right.
But then you don't have any like real control over the growth. You're not continuously growing. You just kind of hit a plateau where you feel complacent.
Right.
And you feel like you need to do something.
Yeah, because what happens when you reach the top of the mountain, it was shaky ground before. So you reach the top and you can't maintain that top status. You can't maintain that climax. And you're like, oh, now you're scrambling like, oh, what I need to do to keep my business on top. You should have been building your foundation to get there.
Gotcha.
And so some people are like, well, shoot, I done made it to the top. It was too much work, so I'm gonna just stay right here.
Gotcha. Okay.
And if you want to do that, then okay. If you want to say, okay, this is as far as I want to go, then that's fine. But majority of the time, once we get to that climax, we're like, there's got to be more to that.
What next?
Yeah, like what next? It's like, okay, I've enjoyed getting here. I've seen everything I've accomplished. Okay, but how do I get to that over there? How do I get to this over there? How do I make a difference somewhere else? And so that's what growth is, because you can wing it. People have been able to just wing it.
Yeah.
And they've been able to make the money.
Yeah.
But they get stagnant. They just feel like they're stuck, or they're okay with being stuck. While somebody else, another company in the same industry, is like, oh, well, I see opportunity. I'm gonna take that opportunity because they're not. So it's sort of like a double-edged sword. It's like at one moment you have a goal and you hit it and you're like, that's all I want. But then afterwards, you get tired of being stuck in one place.
Right.
Or you feel like you're not exhausting all of your talents.
Gotcha,
yet.
yeah.
So you're like, okay, I need to be doing something else. Or I'm interested in venturing out in another business. So that's why we have serial entrepreneurs. They're like, okay, I got this one down pat. If this is working fine, I can build this. If A and B is working fine, then I can build C.
Right.
And it's not that you're overextending yourself. You're putting those people in place to manage those different entities or those different businesses.
And I can imagine those people are the ones that are actually building it in the plan.
Yeah.
And it's not winged.
It's not weak, yeah. And
I
that's
like
the thing,
that.
they're actually formulating, and they're just not going out here like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I'm gonna do that. No, it's actually a strategy behind it.
Gotcha. Okay. So we talked about the additional services. So services you plan to add, your current services, payment methods, what packages? Oh yeah, upselling packages and things like that. So
Yeah, because let me tell you something that bothers me.
it just took the life out.
It just took the life. Let me tell you what bothers me. If I have, okay, say I want somebody to make me a birthday cake. I've already been looking around, looking at, I'm like, ooh, this person makes them nice. Or, ooh, I like how their food tastes. Or, ooh, I like this. I've already done my research. If I can't just go to your website, or I can't just go to your social media and book,
Okay.
I'm not.
Make it convenient.
Make it convenient. Don't say, email me. No, because we're going to have to go through 10 emails back and forth just for you to, okay, here's the price. You can pick up the cake this time. This is what I want. Give me a link. Let me buy. And so sometimes people don't have just a booking link. Give me a
Yeah.
booking link. That's all. And let me find it. Don't let me have to search all around the world for it. You have to guide people to where you want them to go.
Right.
And if people have to click too many times, 2-3 times to get something, they're gonna be like,
It's too much. If they have to guess.
Right. So just make it easy for people to book with you, to find you, and give them easy payment options. I mean, if you have to use, what is that, Afterpay or Prime or something like that, you can give them those options, a third party running. I wouldn't suggest PayPal, but okay, do PayPal, whatever. But have your own payment system within your website, within your CRM, your operation stuff. And get this money quick. Money moves fast.
Yeah, they'll change their mind.
I know I have.
We can't tell you how many abandoned carts.
Right. Ma'am, you left something in your cart.
Yeah, I don't plan on coming back. It was cute when I looked at it
Right.
at 2 o'clock in the
At
morning.
2 o'clock in the morning. But when I got up, I came to my senses. I was like,
I got 5 of those already. I don't really need
I'm looking
that.
at it right now. I got 5. I don't need that. But that's the thing. Just telling people where to go and how to shop on your site, how to book your services, because you don't want to lose someone just because you didn't have those online operations set.
I agree, and it goes well into fundamentals, and I agree with that. One of the things that get me is when people don't have a set amount. I get that things vary, but I see a lot that people kind of feel like if there's no standard price or a base price or a range, that you're basing your pricing just depending on how you feel that day, that it may vary.
Or what bill you got to pay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that part too.
Yeah.
You know, so I've seen people not use certain services or products because it's not just clear what it's going to cost. It's like nobody really wants to hear what's your budget. That's something people don't want to hear anymore. What's your budget?
What's your budget?
They want to know what off the rip are you offering for this price. And most people understand that it can be customized and you know the price is going to change, but most people want to know up front, are you in my budget?
Correct. Yeah. And I've had people reach out to me, be like, how much is it going to cost me for this? And I have a set price for everything, a set price. And now that I'm more seasoned, I'm wiser, I don't move away. I don't
Oh
budge for
yeah,
that
you
price.
talked about that. Do
I stick
not,
to it.
yeah, do not haggle. Where it's in here.
Yeah, it's in it. It's like, don't haggle, because if that's your price, that's your price. Because if you haggle, then that client you have is gonna be like, girl, go to such and such. Don't worry about the price. She'll
Yep.
discount it for you.
Yep.
And now your
The
customers,
discount.
Yeah, they're advertising discount for you, and you don't even know about it.
Yep. I see it all the time. I
All
hear
the
it all the time.
Yeah. So that's why I have a set price. I set it. And of course, I've had people say, okay, invoice paid. And I've had other people say, I can't afford it right now. But when I get to that level, I'll come back to you. Even if they can't afford me right now, I still give them some kind of suggestion, some kind of advice, beneficial information. Give them the free templates, give them the online course, what have you. Because if they know that if you took the time to still give them something, a piece of knowledge they can use in their business, they're gonna be like, you know what, I'll figure out a way to pay her.
Yeah, they'll come back.
Right. They'll be like, well, do you have a payment plan? Yeah, I got a payment plan for you, should. Yeah, we can do this.
I love it.
But don't just, when
Try to haggle. This is not a flea market.
this is not a flea market, don't haggle. And then when people can't afford it, they'll be like, okay, then bye, you weren't my customer anyway. I get
yeah, that
but
drives me crazy.
Still give them some kind of benefit without selling too much of yourself, because they need to know, oh, I'm working with somebody top notch. I'm working with somebody that can really benefit my business. Let me figure out a way to pay. 'Cause
Yeah.
let me tell you, people gonna figure out a way to pay you.
Yeah, they will. And in real estate, we talk about that being a difference in between being a transactional person, service versus creating a relationship. When you provide and you create that relationship and you have your business modeled off of giving.
Yeah.
You're not now there's a limit to
There's a
giving.
limit. Yeah. You are running a business.
Yeah, you are running a business. You give once your cup is full. You give the overflow.
Right, yeah.
They get the overflow. But nobody wants to feel like the only thing that person is concerned about is making a buck, because then it's just like you said, there's no growth in that. It's only about, if you can pay me, then I'll help you.
Right, yeah. Yeah, but you still gotta figure out a way to be beneficial to that person. You want them to leave from you better than they came.
Right. It's funny because we're talking about things, and I know we know where the conversation is going, but they're just flowing right into it because we hit. That's how you know you're a subject matter expert.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So we hit the fundamentals that you talked about, making sure the basics are running smoothly,
Yeah.
the automations, the onboarding, the follow-up emails, the funnel, the payment process. You talked about the website and product descriptions. They should be self-explanatory. People should not have to guess. And these are just the fundamentals to get to where you need to do that price adjustment. Can your future clients easily purchase? You mentioned that. Review your lead time.
Yeah, Yeah, how long it takes you to close somebody.
Yes, that's important. I think, and we'll get into that in the price model. People, entrepreneurs, we do not include our time in.
That's right.
We don't know how to value our
don't.
time. We
We
understand how to value a product, but we
Correct.
don't understand how to value our time. And I get on myself, and I get on a lot of people about that. And then you talked about the conversion rate.
Right, yeah, because that's when I'm looking at the analytics of my business, how long did it take me to convert this person from start to close?
Yes, yeah.
And how many conversations did we have to have? How many consultations? Usually, people, they're watching my social media.
Okay.
They're looking at, they may never like or comment, whatever, but they're looking at it. They'll see
Yeah,
it.
yes, definitely.
And they'll go to my website, try to look at things using the free templates. By that point, I shouldn't have to have 7 conversations with somebody just to say, okay, are you ready to close? I can't tell you, I haven't had to say, are you ready, or let's go ahead and close, but I haven't had to say that in a long time, because by the time we get on the phone, they're like, how do I work with you? How do
Okay,
we
because you
decide?
provided so much information.
Right.
Okay.
I provided so much information.
And resources
ahead of
and
time.
value, yeah, okay.
Correct. That
Okay.
I didn't have to do, on my own, like my automations and my funnels and stuff. So by the time they actually talk to me when we have a conversation, it's the close.
They're ready. And it just speaks to the branding.
Yeah.
You are putting out, and you know exactly who you want to talk to, and adjusting the language to get them. And so now the people who are actually contacting you are your target audience. See, like, this is, it works.
It works.
It works.
Trust the process. It works. Because what
That's
I'm
a-
not going to do is talk to somebody all day.
You know, I've had to figure that out. And I think every entrepreneur has to figure out how much time
Yeah.
and of them that they're gonna give to anyone. And we have to put our clients in buckets. And I've had to figure that out because I'm an in-person type of person. So I like to meet people and get to know them that way. But I found that is not the most efficient way, because a lot of times once I would meet the person in person, I'm just like, I'm talking to them, but I already know in my mind, you're not ready to pull the trigger. This is, we're not on the same page. And now I've done all this. So now what I do is I have a conversation over the phone, then I have a Zoom. Now things go well on the Zoom, and I give you some couple pointers to do, and you do those pointers. Okay, now we can meet in person, and just really understanding how to put those benchmarks into place.
Because then, by you doing that, meeting them on Zoom, you just cut your logistics time down.
Yes.
You're not around here driving around town, meeting with them, paying for coffee and stuff like that. And then at the end of the meeting, it's like, oh, okay, we're not a good fit for each other.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't wasted drive time, miles, and coffee
All
and stuff like
that,
that.
yes.
So you do have to. It's like, yes, you're making yourself available to people, but you can't exhaust yourself.
Right.
Because it takes a lot of energy.
It does. Oh my goodness. It
Takes a lot
does.
of energy and a lot of preparation. And so that's why some people, a lot of people, don't like the fact that I charge a fee for a consultation.
Okay.
And I'm like, I get that. I understand. Yeah, because it's like, I'm just paying to talk to you. But no, you're not paying to talk to me, because when you book that time, I've already done the research. And
You're giving them some
everything for you.
advice and some
I'm giving-
resources at the
right.
end of your conversation.
So when we're talking, we're implementing a strategy. Like, I'm looking at what your business is, the industry in. Okay, you're telling me your challenge. This is the solution that you need to implement. So it's not just, oh, hey girl, hey, how you doing? No, we're working on this call. So that's why you're paying for it, because I've already done the research. I've already implemented a plan for you. I just need to talk to you.
yeah.
And that's it. And plus, it prevents people from, when consultation calls are free, a lot of people will cancel.
Oh.
They'll reschedule.
Okay.
They'll come up with an excuse. Now, I get emergencies.
Right.
But
It's not a priority.
not a priority. But when they pay for it, when they pay for that consultation fee, I know that they're prepared.
Gotcha.
I know that they're ready.
Yeah.
And the expectations. So this is a working call.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's how it's benefited my business, because a lot of times when you get stuff for free, people abuse it.
They don't value free. They're and that's a known study, you know, and it goes into the whole luxury branding and all that. People pay. There's a mental connection between price and value. And go into the price model.
You're welcome.
I know, right? We're just good at this. We just slide on to
right
the
on
next.
in there. Yeah.
Oh, no. So we have price models and we have partnerships. Let's do partnerships because it seems like that goes well with fundamentals. So you want to connect with your partnership. So let's talk about that. List the tedious tasks that you can delegate to an assistant.
Oh,
So that's where we talk about people not understanding how much their time cost. Because we're spending time doing a minimum wage task, but we don't get paid minimum wage. So you're actually losing money
Right.
when you take out the time to do these things that we don't trust other people to do. And that's really what it comes down to. We don't trust, and we're not ready to let go of that power over that situation.
Yeah, because we're afraid that somebody's going to take this from my business from up under me. They're going to steal my ideas and stuff like that. And yes, that is a concern, but then you also have to know, work with people that have integrity, that are honest, that you feel comfortable working with. And keep in mind that people are talented in areas way more than you are. Like with me, I can create, a social media template. I can do it. But somebody else can do it 10 times better than me. And I've got to humble myself and be like, Monica, use the talents of other people. CEOs don't do everything.
Oh my goodness.
They don't know how to do everything. They hire people to do that for them. So I was like, let me start hiring people to do this stuff, especially if it's something I don't want to do, or if it's taking up more than 15 minutes of my time when I can be networking or selling or something like that. If it takes more than 15 minutes of my time, I need to delegate that out to somebody else.
And it feeds right into this. When you get to a certain level, okay, now I can start delegating and hiring out. Okay.
That's why virtual assistants are so important, admin, customer service. It's been many times I'm working on a project and an email will pop up. And before, I'd be like, ooh, well, let me respond to the email. But then that takes me away from what I was working on. So now I'm like, I let my automations kick in, or I let my customer service handle it.
Gotcha.
And then at the end of the day, I'll come back around. I'll be like, well, okay, what happened with that? Where did that go? So.
And it may not have been anything that required you.
Exactly.
Okay. So then you say which partnerships have been established to grow your client base, and then create a referral method.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I say those affiliate programs are great. Partnering with nonprofits, those are great because they will use your services, but also they will advertise your service to the community.
Exactly, yeah.
So I say partner with nonprofits, get you an affiliate program, and partner with people who you all share a client base.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like for me, I'm a business consultant, but sometimes my business clients, their website might not be up to pace, or it doesn't work on a mobile app or something like that. So I have a website designer as my partner. It's like, hey, because you can help them out where I can't.
Exactly.
I'm not just gonna figure out how to create a website, and I don't want to figure it out. But here's a website designer for you. I tell my clients, do you have a business budget? No, I don't have a business budget. Okay, well, I have a CPA or a bookkeeper or an accountant I can refer you to.
Right.
They're my direct partnership with them. Or it's just, if I need somebody to do original invitations or business cards, something like that, okay, I've got a female artist who does calligraphy.
Oh.
She can make that stuff for you. So it's like building that partnership is, I can't do everything that you need for your business, but I've got someone I can refer to you, or in this package that you have working with me, you get access to A, B, C, and D.
Right. Oh my goodness, this good stuff, y'all. Good stuff. You talked about the community involvement and the 5 partnerships that would increase your marketing. I think about that too when I'm partnering with someone. It's not about being an opportunist. It's about understanding how to take advantage and create opportunities. So you have to partner. If you partner with somebody that's just not in the right industry, you don't share that customer base, you're not going to see the progress that you're really looking for, because if you don't get it, then I can't explain it. It's just one of those things. You either understand it or you don't. And then if you don't, hire somebody. It ain't your time. You know, because it's just one of those things. I tell people a lot that being an entrepreneur is more about learning how to get business than anything. If you don't know how to get business, how are you making money?
You're gonna be spinning your wheels.
You'll be spinning your wheels. So a lot of people just think because they have a good product, a good service, or something like that, that they'll make it. You'll be a good leader in an organization, but because you're missing that business mindset part of it, that's going to just keep you spinning, you know, and that's the unfortunate. So price modeling, we talked about, and I love that in the price strategy guide, you talked about the different packages.
Yes, you can have different packages, because I wanted to break it down between those who were like product based and service based, those who charge by the hour, or so who charge by the project. Me, I charge by the project, because I'm not supposed to keep up. I know how many hours it takes me to do something.
Okay.
But I have so many years of experience that somebody may like, okay, I need you to do my resume. For me, I can do it in 30 minutes. But I'm not going to charge you just on 30 minutes of work. Like, if I charge by the hour,
right.
You
still, yeah.
So I charge. You are paying for the years and the experience, the expertise.
I've seen that. Yes. Yeah. Don't fault me because I'm fast. Because I know what I'm doing.
Right.
Because I'm blessed by the best.
I know. You reach out to me.
Right. The turnaround time is just unbelievable.
Yes.
So price the most valuable item that requires the least amount of working hours, the highest.
Yes.
Girl, when I tell you, you know your stuff back and forth.
Forwards and backwards, because the thing that, like, consultation, that is the beneficial product or beneficial service for my client.
Okay.
So I price that high.
Gotcha.
Because in this package, you're going to get all the above. But say if someone just wants me to come speak at a workshop, okay, I'm going to come speak at a workshop. Because I know after you get this information, you're going to want to work with me.
Gotcha, yeah.
I'm going to close something.
Somebody in the audience.
Right. What Denzel saying, I'm leaving here with something. That's what I'm going to do. So the things.
You know what? Like, that's going to be in my mind now when I go to these. I'm leaving here with something.
I'm leaving here with something. But that's what I tell people.
Client.
The thing that takes the least amount of work, price at the highest, because you are an expert in that. People need that. Your market needs that.
Okay.
So yeah, price at the highest. Because you don't want to be working so much in something that is exhausting all of your manpower time, and you only just giving them something mediocre.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So calculate how much it costs to sell your products and services, then include your work time and average industry price. We talked about that. We don't know our price. We don't know how much our hourly wage or salary or whatever should be. And so we're doing stuff that we really need to delegate.
Correct.
Okay, and then list your price-based value. Yeah, list your price based on the value and not the customer's budget. And are you saying yes to every customer?
Some of you folks, you gotta say no. I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it.
And so you said, if so, then you're not connecting with your ideal client. I mean, it gives you permission. You're giving people permission to say no.
Yes.
To turn away somebody that is not a good fit for them.
Because they need to be saying no.
With a period.
And no is a sentence.
A whole sentence by itself.
Because people will say, well, I got to get this money, I got to get paid. Yeah, but that person that you're saying yes to can probably be your worst client.
Oh my goodness,
and you're going to spend so much time working with them. Now, the money that you're getting off of them doesn't equate to the
Hours.
mental and emotional stress that you went through.
There we go. Getting back to that whole knowing, valuing your own time.
Right. So yeah, I've told people no.
That ain't, you ain't for me. So let's get into the pricing, the different packages, because that's important, and that's something that I've gotten into as well, is saying, okay, I can't give you the cow and the milk for the same price.
Right. I can't do that. And won't.
There you go. So let's talk about the importance of that and how people can kind of break that down and establish packages so that they can charge different prices depending on how much work that client needs. And that will be beneficial to the client because not every client needs the same amount of attention.
That's correct, yeah, because that's why I broke it down to competitive pricing, bundled pricing. If you're just doing the pricing based on your industry, that competitive pricing, I like that one. That's my favorite. Because I look at what my competitors doing. I say, what y'all charging over there?
Okay.
What y'all doing over there? And sometimes I can adjust my price, to be comparable with theirs, or I keep it the same. But basically, I want to maintain my price model that reflects my brand messaging.
Gotcha.
So I'm not just to be pricing something just because.
We ain't price matching.
Right. Just because Joe Blow down there charging, $10, I ain't gonna charge $10. But that bundle package is so much better because for me, as your consultant, I'm on your team. So I've got to come with a premier package to where you're like, oh, I'm getting a whole kit and caboodle.
Gotcha.
So that's why I do the bundle price, because you're gonna get all of this, and this is the price for it. Whereas if you were to go out by yourself and piece each one,
Gotcha.
it'll be way more.
Okay.
Way more than that. So that's why I give people the options. Take a look at the bundle pricing versus the competitive pricing versus your industry pricing and see which one best fits your business.
Okay.
Like for commercial cleaners, sometimes they charge per square feet.
Yes.
That makes sense.
And it would make sense for the industry too. I can imagine cleaning a restaurant will require a different amount of skills and things like that than a Walgreens.
Correct. Yeah. And now you done set up here, you done gave them a price, and you're like, oh, no,
All this grease I got to scrub.
All right. I'll be here all night.
It's not just waxing the floors. You got to get, okay.
You got to get down to
And some grease on those floors.
Yeah.
Okay, there was one other thing. I keep talking about understanding the cost. So let's hit on that a little bit because we're not including everything when we consider how much it costs. That helps us determine how much we should charge.
Right.
They go hand in hand.
Right. Yeah, because we're so stuck on, okay, it only cost me $15 to create this. Right, but in the end, you need to make some kind of profit too. And we just don't understand how much it costs for us to onboard a customer. When someone signs up with you, you got to pay for that website. You got to pay for that drop shipping service. You got to pay for, the designs, the Campbell, whatever that you use to put on your products or what have you. All that is included in the price of how much it's costing you to onboard somebody.
Right.
So know how much that is and compare it to how much revenue you're getting within a week, a month, quarter, or a year. Then that's when reality says, it's like, I'm not charging enough.
Right, because like you said, we're only looking at the price of how much it costs to create it and not all of the other fixed costs that are going to all the subscriptions and other things that we need in order to just provide that service. We're excluding those costs when we create the price for the client. We need to consider all of that. So I always think about, I like to use it in terms of a restaurant. Every dish still, you have to account for the seasonings that you pay for that dish and everything that it took, not just the meat, the potatoes and that. There's so many other hidden costs that we don't think about. Right,
because like when you go to a restaurant now, you're going to pay $2.39 for a Coke.
Oh my goodness, I start drinking water.
Right, because they charge so much. But now, mind you, for them just to get a carton of Coke, they're going to charge them like $2 for the whole carton. They can get like 200 Cokes out of that. But they're charging you that $2.39 because A, you already here. What you going to do?
And you can't bring in an extra drink.
You can't bring in, what you going to drink?
Tap water.
Right. So they charge you for that. They charge you for the glass that they put it in.
The dishwasher
The
they washed
dishwasher
it.
they put it into. Then you got to charge for the staff for the kitchen to keep clean, so your glasses are. So you're not just paying for Coke. You're paying for this whole operation. We need to take that same mindset in our business.
Gotcha.
When I started selling hoodies, yeah, I could sell a hoodie for $15, but that's not paying for my drop shipping account. That's not paying for my social media.
Oh, the
ads,
okay, yeah.
doing the time it's taking me to put a design on there, create it, or if I get in contact with a graphic designer, paying them to do it. I can't just charge that hoodie $15 because I'm not making any money back off of it.
You know, you're really reminding me about how when we talked about the business plan, you mentioned that almost every endeavor, every little aspect of our business kind of requires its own business plan. So like your hoodies has its own business plan. Exactly how much is it costing me to make this? What is the goal? What is the purpose? What is the ideal client? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
every bit, because when you're trying to pitch your business to somebody, or when you need to go back and understand what's my framework for it, you got to do it for every business. Because what I'm doing in my business development is not going to be the same process I'm going to do for my hoodie,
Your merch. Okay.
my merchandise that I have.
Okay.
It's going to be two different roadmaps. It's
Okay.
two different processes. But some people try to take one and use it for multiple, and you can get away with that.
We can wing it.
You can wing it.
But it's not strategic.
It's not strategic.
It's not planned. It's not thought out.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And that makes sense why this should be so simple, because you're going to use it over and over and over. Every element of that money making, or what we call it, the multiple revenue.
Yeah.
Every aspect, it should be considered its own business, and it has its own business plan, its own strategic growth, all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like McDonald's is not a fast food company. They're not a restaurant. They're real estate. Because they were strategic with it. They know, okay, I need to be in real estate to get this land so I can do whatever I want and put it wherever I want, what have you. They're not just in a restaurant business. They had to use that strategy to really grow to where it is now.
Yep. Like, y'all, we're going to talk about land leases. So
Yes.
Monica's getting over into land leases, which are very lucrative. So if you have some land, let me know. We might be able to get you a franchise and on that land and do some land leasing.
Yes.
Because a lot of corporations do not own the land. McDonald's
Right.
is an exception. Yeah, they
don't
lease
own
the
the
land.
land,
No,
yeah.
because they need to keep that money freed up for other more important things. Okay. So sustainability.
Ooh.
Your expenses do not exceed your income. So if you're not thinking about all of these small things, it could easily, your
Right.
expenses could easily be equal or more than your income. And your business is able and ready to expand without causing a financial setback.
That's why I tell people you need a business budget. You have to have a business budget, because in order to remain sustainable, you need to know where your money is going in
Gotcha.
your business. If it's just, you're like, oh yeah, I got a business account and that's it, you don't know what your cash flow is, how much money is coming in, how much you're spending out, are you saving any, making a profit, and that will reflect, are you sustainable? And so sometimes when you go to the banks and ask for, business loans, what have you,
Gotcha.
they're like, no, because we don't see how your business is going to be able to pay us back.
Gotcha, yeah.
It's got to be sustainable. You got to have that business budget. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I deal in my line, I deal with a lot of startups, and I have to have that conversation with them, and because some of them are not operating in their business, they're not generating a revenue, which is kind of, it always throws me back a little bit for somebody to contact me who's not generating revenue, but they're ready to open a brick and mortar. And I know, right? And so the hardest thing for me in that conversation is getting them to understand from a bank standpoint their sustainability.
Right.
I recently had somebody and I told her, I said, the bank is going to look at, does your job give you enough money for you to survive personally and for you to float all the expenses for this business? And it's probably not. And then, the person will say, oh, well, I know I could, do $2,000, $3,000. And it's like,
You could.
You know that, but we're talking about the bank.
The bank, right.
And the bank is going to look at more than just, do you have $2,000 left over after your paycheck? Because they know that you still need that to live off of. So that's the hardest thing, is to get people to understand that stability part, the way the bank is going to look at it.
Because like she said, she could, I could make that. Well, are you making that?
Are
now?
you,
Are you making that?
And the bank is looking at your ability to repay that. So that sustainability is important. And, just the business growth is very important when it comes to people who are trying to get into a brick and mortar.
Yes.
Because it builds that in. And in some conversations, I have to tell people, it sounds like this project we're talking about is more of a 5 to 10 year goal, not right now.
Not right now, yeah. And that's what people want, to have their name on that door and have a brick and mortar and be like, I made it, y'all, I made it.
Yeah.
Because what you're not accounting for is, for the first 6 months, you're paying a lease that your business may not be able to pay on its own. You may have to come out of pocket with it. Or maybe that's all you can pay for is a lease. You need to make sure you have enough foot traffic. Your business needs to pay for its own self.
Yes.
You gotta make sure you have enough foot traffic for people who are coming to make the sales, and you're able to pay for the monthly rent or what have you, pay for the utilities, pay for the internet, pay for the phone, the security system, these display cases that you want in there, being open, being closed. You gotta pay for all that, and people don't realize. They're like, okay, I'm moving into a retail spot. That's a second mortgage.
Yes, it is.
And your business has to pay for that. And if the bank says, we don't see how your business is gonna float that,
it's a done deal.
It's a done deal.
It's a done deal. And so that's why when I talk to people, that is one of the things I ask, do you have a business plan?
right?
And so you guys, this is very important. We're bridging some industries here. We're talking about business growth, business planning, but then we gotta bring commercial real estate into it as well. So,
Sure do.
We want you guys in the business. We want to help you grow, but we have to do it strategically.
Correct, yes, because you all are able to help them, okay, this is the location you need to be in for your business, or it's not best for you to be in a standalone store, it's best for you to be in a complex where there's automatic foot traffic. You can tell them like, okay, hey, I know you want to be on this side of town, but I think you should be over here.
Yes.
Or you can't afford it over there, but this is cheaper.
This is where the growth is happening.
Right,
Yep.
yeah. And people need that direction because they don't know what to do.
Man, we can get into that. Trust your professionals.
Yes.
If you hire us and that is our expertise, and that is what, sometimes that's the hardest thing, is to tell somebody that there may be a different way. I don't want to say a better way.
Maybe a different
But
way.
there's a different way that could get you there maybe a little faster, maybe avoid these things based off of the expertise that I have in this industry. So you just have to listen.
Just have to listen, that's all.
That's it, and that's all. So you know what? I don't know. We went through the whole business strategy growth.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we missed, or you want to kind of touch on some of the, I don't know. We always have those common mistakes or those common questions.
yeah.
I always like to kind of get into those. Did we miss any that you'd like to kind of just throw out there?
I would say the most common question is, how do I create my business budget?
Okay.
And basically just break it down 3 sections, which you want to do for operations, marketing, and then how much you want to actually save.
Okay.
So do it, operations, marketing, saving.
Saving.
You start with that.
Okay.
And
Keep it simple.
You keep it simple and create your business budget. Yeah. And no, you do not need 13 different business accounts. You don't.
How many do you say? I've heard people say 3 to 5. What is your suggestion?
3.
Okay.
3. Yeah.
The incoming, what you,
Yeah, the incoming was outgoing and then some set aside.
your taxes or
Yeah.
your savings and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Well,
There we go.
you guys, we appreciate you joining us in this conversation. We hope that you learned something, took something away, share, comment, subscribe, all those good things. Make sure you follow the both of us. We are on
Yo MO.
There you go. All the platforms, baby.
All the platforms, yeah.
We taking over like this stuff that we talking about. Look, when I tell y'all the Academy is not about me getting up here on my soapbox trying to tell somebody what they should and should not be doing or really trying to educate. I am sharing. This is also my journey.
Yeah.
And I am reaching out to these professionals to say, hey, look, this is where I am. This is where, you know, people who I'm networking with are, and we need your help. So you guys, if you need help, you know someone that needs help, this is where you should be, the Royal Owners Academy. We're gonna have many, many more professionals to come in and give us advice on how to grow our businesses. So if there is something in particular you would like to learn more about, please reach out to me. You can DM me, you can email, you can do all that.
Yes.
You know, we techie over here. So
Yeah,
reach out. Please book a consultation with Monica. Did you have anything else you want to leave these folks with?
Plan for growth, plan for the future.
I love it. She ain't playing.
And not.
Thank you guys. We'll see you in the streets.
Yes.